I think that when we talk about business, there are more entrepreneurs in business. I think that that space is being filled, not fast enough, but we're seeing women get up and do things and not wait to get into the employment line, and so much more proactive. In the public service too, there's a lot more women in decision-making roles. Where we've perhaps not done so well is in Parliament. Getting into office has been really difficult, and I think that that's somewhere that we've got a lot of improvement to make.
Well, our two major challenges on the African continent is skills in terms of the quality of manufacturing, and the second challenge is capital. And we need governments that will start looking at our creative capital, because a lot of African countries have always been focused on raw materials when the African person themselves is so creative that we are the gold. You know, we need to stop digging in the ground for gold and diamonds. We are that, whether in terms of music, whether in terms of fashion, whether in terms of creativity, art, we are that gold. We've set the tone from the very beginning, music, jazz, everything, you know, and it's time for us to monetize that, and it's time for us to be investing in African creativity, because it really is what drives everything on this globe is African creativity. So it's time for governments to invest in the talent that is the booming youth of the continent.
So often in my head when I'm thinking about how countries work and what countries need, I sort of connect it to the individual. Like I relate it to, so when you think about it as an individual, this whole idea of love of self, self-understanding is central, right? But why can't we extend that to the idea of a country? That if a country cannot come to know and love itself for itself without relying on external affirmation, and we mostly rely on the West to affirm us, that's going to go a long way. What it meant to be African in my mother's generation is not the same as what it means for me as a woman to be African now. So her story and her experience of being an African woman is extremely important. So was my grandmother's, but it's very different from my story.
Pan-Africanism is not just important, it's the heartbeat of what needs to happen with the continent. How the average African can incorporate that into their daily lives, it starts with our thought process. I'm loving the fact that we are wearing our own brands. I'm loving that we're accepting our own skin. So it starts with just the personal way in which you carry yourself. Then for me, I think you can extend it. Who do you shop from? Where do you buy your food? Which businesses are you supporting? So in your little corner, if you're holding a little birthday party, are you supporting an African vendor? Are you supporting a woman vendor? So we often think that the responsibility lies on large corporates, but we all spend money in some way or another. And it's important that we're spending that money within our communities, within our continent, within an environment that encourages what we're trying to preach. Then we need to move the rhetoric beyond just the small scale, on the large scale. Who are we doing business with? Who are we trying to get our supplies from a large scale perspective? And also, who are we collaborating with? There's a lot of Africa and international collaboration, but there's not even enough going on at a continental level. I'd love to see the powerhouses of great business people who are African, who are working together, who lead by example. We need to stop living in our little fiefdoms and wanting to be kings and queens of our own palaces, and see that there is much benefit to working together. That way we can really revolutionize how we are doing business and the scale at which we are doing business, especially internationally.
We are judged on different levels, and if there's any situation and a man exhibits bravery and courage, he's a brave man, he's courageous. But if a woman does same, she's disrespectful. We are not judged with the same yardstick, unfortunately. We are not saying we are totally equal, but intellectually and physically, these are things that we can also do given the opportunity. And there are some fabulous women leaders doing a lot better, and there are some fabulous men leaders also doing a lot better. When we talk of corruption, There are corrupt men as well, and there are corrupt women. So there's no point in discriminating against any woman just because she's a woman, irrespective of her experience, her education, her background, her everything. There's no point in discriminating against her just because she's a woman.
Because of their marginality, women are a different kind of resource. And it's a very militant resource. If you look at how feminist critiques of development in Africa emerged out of the terrible experience of structural adjustment which was inflicted on ordinary women, the feminization of poverty. Challenging that is the primary feminist project within African development. And starting with the mind, it's a conscientization project. Black consciousness, very important, class consciousness. Feminism is the consciousness that takes the material and historical realities of gender oppression very seriously as a transformative legacy.
Entire Oxford package, including the Oxford Africa Conference, has shown me one thing, that if there's anything to be said about African youths, it's that spirit of excellence. You're meeting Nigerians everywhere, you're meeting Zimbabweans everywhere, South Africans everywhere, all around the world, and they're doing amazing things. It's that dynamism, that enthusiasm, that level of energy that you find in Africans, young Africans, that continues to inspire me. We all knew what we wanted. It's that passion and enthusiasm to further these conversations that would not just be conversations around rhetoric, but conversations that will help really engender positive change and the kind of concrete action that we've been talking about since yesterday. And yeah, it's been marvelous.
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever tools that you've got, try to use them in your environment. I mean, look for the opportunities. They're certainly there. I think we've got to say a lot more about the journey. I often think that we see ourselves at the bottom of the mountain, and we can see the top, but we can't see in between. And I think we really have to think beyond the pale. You've got to get above this inertia that I see within many to ask the tough questions, to know that it's not going to be easy. I was speaking to someone today who was going to get into politics, and it was really refreshing to hear that it's not about winning, it's about the journey and the next one and the next one. And young people, you've got a whole lifetime. So really make use of it and explore, be ready to fail. Their lessons, success, bring more people in. And I think that perhaps that's where some of the greatest challenges are, is that it's not a straight line. And it wouldn't be fun if it was.
I have learned a lesson in that you must, when you have a platform, respect your audience by telling the truth, by speaking to the core of the reality. Otherwise, you're not teaching anybody anything. Here we are at Oxford. You guys have all the textbooks. But it's incumbent on those who are in practice to say to them, this is not in the textbook. It sounds like a soft issue, but it's a real issue. And we must talk about it. We must address it. And that in itself is a responsibility. You must utilize it for good. But I'm also in a space where I think first ladies have social capital. And like with any capital, you must spend it. There's no point being popular, having a platform and having social capital, and you're not willing to spend it. I must spend some of the social capital that I've earned on engaging in difficult conversations and helping to unlock certain bottlenecks in our inability or unwillingness to address some difficult topics. You cannot fix something that you're not speaking about or trying to address.